You hear that music, man. You get excited. Welcome back to CBS Mornings and more March Madness coverage. Imagine this. You get fired from your head coaching job, and yet you rally your team to make the NCAA tournament. That is madness, and that is exactly what happened to our next guest, Dan Monson. Long Beach State, and he agreed to part ways last week after 17 years. But then Monson, who was allowed to continue coaching, went on to the Big West Conference Tournament, where his squad suddenly caught fire, winning the title and earning an automatic bid to the Big Dance.
Yes.
What that means is tomorrow, Coach Monson and his team will face the #2 seed Arizona in the first round of the NCAA Tournament. And Coach Monson joins us now. Coach, so glad to have you here. We are very excited for you. You may be the most Cinderella of the Cinderellas in this dance. But I'm curious, you find out you're going to be relieved of your duties, and you've got to break it to your team. How did you tell them, and what did that do for their level of motivation to play for you, to play for themselves, to keep this season going?
Yeah, it was kind of a surreal day. It's a day you'll never forget because it was probably the lows of low as far as having to go in there and tell them that I would be done. And one of my youngest son is on the team, and my oldest son is a graduate assistant. So you have your kids in there. Kind of, they were good when they knew about it ahead of time, but a few hours. But when they got with their teammates, it was really a gut-wrenching moment, and yet it's a moment I'll cherish forever because as a coach, you don't really know. It's like a parent. You don't really know how much they love you until they show you because, you're disciplining them, you're holding them accountable, you're pushing them. And so you don't know, maybe maybe they do care or don't, but that room that day I'll never forget because of the love and the emotions that went with it. They can take any job from you, but they can't take that bond you had with your team.
I love to hear that, Coach, and we're all excited for you. It's good to see you. It's been a while. I was in Minnesota when you were in Minnesota. We have a special connection there. But you're a big proponent of staying in the moment, and I love that, because a Cinderella story is one thing. But how do you get these guys to focus on not just being happy to be in the tournament, but be ready to win in the tournament?
Yeah, that's what makes it March Madness. It's not just one thing. You have to galvanize, and that Monday we really did. You could feel a different bond between all of us in the room. They asked to be alone for about 30 minutes, and then I said, "What do you guys want to do now?" Because I didn't know if they just needed time alone or what. And they said, "Let's watch it," because I talked about watching film, and I told them, just us being together is not enough. We're not playing good enough. Our defense has got to change. And so we went and watched a little film, and the first play I showed him, I said, "Now see how we closed out here and we're short and he's wide open."
Yeah.
I said, we're still going to lose games unless we fix this stuff. This is the kind of play that will get a coach fired. And the room just broke up laughing, and at that point on, we've just kind of had fun with it.
Yeah.
Coach, I know everybody that knows you says you are not a petty Betty, that you are not holding anything about this. But I have to admit, I'm feeling some kind of way about how you were treated and how this all turned out. So I'm wondering, for you personally, what are you learning from this? What do you want to teach about this? How do you plan to move forward through all of this? And do you still want to continue to coach?
Well, it's been a week of reflection. I definitely have reflected and know that I still want to coach because this is, when people tell you can't do something, it really, as competitors, really stokes the fire back up. But as Nate was talking about, one of our mantras is to stay in the moment. And I've gotten really emotional once or twice, and it's when I'm thinking about other things, like what happens next week, or what, is this going to be my last game? And so I've really it's really been a great, as you said, with these players. You're preaching with them to stay in the moment, and if you miss a shot, you got to come back and make the next play. And so I'm learning from them too, because they've been so resilient this week, and the ability they've had to stay in the moment. I wouldn't be doing justice to them and being the coach that they need if I didn't do the same. So it's been I wouldn't trade this week for any job in the country because it's just been fun to go on this ride with these guys.
Who's given you the best advice during this time, especially when you got emotional? Who's given you the best advice?
Well, last Saturday before our championship game, I thought they were running out of gas a little bit, so I tried to talk to them about the tournament and how, we'd have Selection Sunday the next day, and we were going to do it at our house, just us as a family, and that was the one time that I got emotional in front of the team, and they started cheering and said, "We got you, Coach," and then afterwards, I asked our captains who had been in that championship game 2 years ago, what do we need to do to get over the hump this year? And Jadon Jones, our captain, said, "Coach, we just need to stay in the moment. The moment will not be too big as long as that's all we're worried about. But if we're worried about the moment and something else, that's when it gets too big." And it just struck to me. Here I am talking about Selection Sunday and the tomorrow, and that's when I got emotional because I was thinking outside of what we had in films and what we had at our task in front of us. So my players, like I tell them, I've learned more from them this last week than they've learned from me, and that's that relationship and all the people,
awesome
the outpouring has been just tremendous that I wouldn't trade for anything.
Well, we're all cheering for you, man. Hopefully they'll stay in the moment.
It's a big game.
As a coach used to tell me, be exactly where your feet are. My older brother, Kevin, who played for you back when you were coaching the Minnesota Golden Gophers, we're cheering for you as well. He said, "What's up?" I'll make sure you guys connect once we go to the commercial break. There you are, the young brother. That's my brother, Kevin.
Ballers.
Yep. We got a few ballers in the family, and we appreciate you as a coach. Good luck, and go get another win, baby.
Yes.
Let's keep dancing.
Yes.
The first round action of the NCAA Men's Tournament tips off tomorrow. You can watch CBS Sports and TNT Sports coverage on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV.